Hey guys, and welcome to a budget build for the AKM series. This is going to be covering the AKM as well as the AKMS, including the two dovetail variants. I would always recommend that you check out the flea market if you're going to be buying the AKM straight out. The first thing that I'd recommend that you do is you're going to see red variants of the gun. If you come up to the cogwheel, click remove barter offers and only show function and items, so you can just buy it straight with cash. As you can see here, instead of spending 41k with Prepper, you can get it for 33k. So let's head over to traders. Let's head over to tier 1 with Prepper. We're gonna need to grab ourselves the AKM Polymer handguard. I'm going to be getting two of these because I'm going to be showing you both of the builds. And then head over to tier 2 and grab yourself the rubber butt pad. Now let's head over to mechanic. This is going to be on tier 2, so you do need to be level 20 for this build, but I will show you a variant so you don't have to be level 20. But you do want to grab yourself the dynacomp muzzlebrake. This is a pretty decent muzzlebrake for the AKM series. And now we need to head over to skier. Go to tier 2. We're going to need to grab ourselves the RK-1 foregrip, as well as a DTK-1 and the adapter, the TT AKM. So this is the variant if you're not level 20 with mechanic. And then if you're going to be running a AKM, I'd recommend if you get yourself the AKM PT lock, as well as the PT-1 buttstock. So this is everything you need. Let's get straight into building the AKM. So as you can see right now, this AKM has 50 ergonomics and 99 vertical recoil. This is a pretty decent build. If you do want to put a sight on this gun, I would recommend if you head over to Prepper, go to tier 2 and grab yourself the TT-1. If you do want to go with lower recoil, you can always get a EKP, or if you've got a dovetail variant, it does have -1 recoil, but the ergonomics is shocking. But you can get the EKP-8 as well, reflex sight. That's if it's got the dovetail variant. Now, there's obviously, if you're not level 20, let's just quickly whack on the DTK, and it's only a -2 difference. It does actually have 2 more ergonomics as well, so you can ADS quicker. So, if you don't have an AKM and you want to run the AKMS, you cannot put the buttstock on, so this is what the rubber butt pad is for. So you just whack that straight on. Let's put everything else on this gun. So here you go. This would be the best build that you can get with the AKMS. 42 ergonomics and 106 vertical recoil. You do see the AKMS more in raids than you would do the AKM, so you might be coming across this one more often. Now, with any build, I would never recommend to go straight out. This is how I would do my builds if I was basically... If I found this gun inside of raid and I just got out, I'm going to show you how I would do this build. I wouldn't just go straight out. Let's quickly put everything back together. So you want to work off a basis. This is how I do it. I do the muzzle brake and then the AK and then the buttstock basically. If I just got out with this gun, I would always replace the front AKM polymer handguard, because as you can see, going from 135 recoil, this is going to get dropped down to 126, so you're definitely going to be able to keep this under control a lot more. Then you can once you've got out of that raid, you can always whack on the dynacomp. It does lower it down to 115, and if you got the money, you can always go and grab yourself the PT-1 buttstock. And then for me, this would be my budget build, 100% complete. I wouldn't need to do anything else to this. Obviously, if you want to make your ergonomics a little bit nicer, on skier tier 2, if you're having a lot of luck, you can always grab yourself the RP1 charge handle and the RK3 pistol grip. But this is where you're starting to look into a semi-decent gun, but as you can see, it didn't touch your recoil at all, it only increases your ergonomics of that. But this is what I would recommend for a budget build for the AKM series. Before we get into the hideout, I do want to talk about 3 different ammunitions. For this gun uses 7.62 x 39. On Prepper Tier 1 you can get yourself PS. On Tier 2 you can get T45M, this is also with Prepper, and then on Tier 3 after completing a task you can get BP. Now I do want to go into the damage values and which is best for this gun basically. So BP is basically end game ammo for this gun. It does penetrate all the way up to tier 6. It will take a few shots to go through tier 6 armor, but this is definitely recommended to use. Even if you use an SKS, I would definitely recommend this. It does 58 flesh, but it does do 47 penetration, which is definitely decent. Going full auto with, if you can find yourself the 50 round drum mag or even a 30 round drum mag, they will drop. I love the AKM series going against M1s and M4s and AK-74s. The AKM series is a gun that I always go back to. As you can see on the flea market, people do pull up a lot less, okay, 1 ruble less than what it is on the actual trader, so you don't even need to complete the task for this. But you can see 530 rubles per bullet. It is definitely expensive, but it does guarantee the high player kills. The next best is PS. Funny enough, this is available from the very start. As you can see here, a lot of people pull it up for a lot less than what the trader value is. I would always recommend checking the flea market for going through the traders. Unless you need to level up Prepper, then, buy it from him. That's down to you. But PS does 54 flesh and 34 penetration. So it's less damage and less penetration, but this is a bullet available from the very start. It does penetrate all the way up to tier 6, but you would need to pummel him for quite a while, basically. This is definitely a brilliant bullet from the start of the game. If you're just getting into the game, then I would recommend if you rock PS. Obviously if you can get BP, I would definitely recommend it over that. But next we're going to talk about the T45M. This is a tracer, but it does do a lot of flesh damage. It does 62, the second highest out of the family of 7.62, and it only does 31 penetration. So if you're going to be running on maps like customs, basically the lower end maps where you're not going to see very geared people, rocking T45M isn't such a bad shout. But inside Tarkov, to be honest with you, you might as well just run PS if you're going to be running those ones, just in case if you come across a geared boy and you might need to 2-tap him to the head. Obviously, if you can get BP, I would obviously recommend rocking BP, just because it's an absolute beast of a bullet. Okay, so we're inside the hideout. We're going to rock the AKM first of all. We are going to do our recoil test, so we're going to go from standing, and we're just going to blast him straight. Need to set it to full auto though. So you can see that we absolutely flew straight over the guy's head. Even though it's a budget build, this AKM is pretty decent. From standing at that distance, you wouldn't really want to stand with an AKM anyway. But if you take your time, you can see that it has a crazy kick from initially shooting him in the nuts. But yeah, you want to take your time with these. A lot of guns, if you burst fire, like do 4 or 3 shots stop, 4 or 3 shots stop, then to be honest with you, he should be dead by then. Obviously, pop him in the head. There's nothing wrong with shooting him in the head. Let's go from crouch at distance. So that spread right there, you can see that I had an initial kick up. I'm not controlling the recoil. The AKM shoots so slow that it is easy to control the recoil with this gun, but you can see that it goes straight up over his head again, even from crouching. But if you shoot him in the balls, the likely chance is you're going to shoot him square in the eyes, apparently. That was a pretty dead-on shot right there. let's go switch over the AKMS. This one is a little more erratic. This is where I would definitely start recommending if you walk around on single fire and just do a tap to the head. But let's go full auto from standing. That's interesting. Even though the recoil is higher than the other one, most of his bullets actually, or most of the bullets actually stayed on the target, which is quite interesting actually. Go for the next one. So yeah, this is why I'm not a big fan of this gun. At distance, the recoil is absolutely, you know, trash. It's an AKM series. The bullets are so big enough that you should just be popping them in the head basically. So if you go semi-controlled, you can control it really well. This is why I'd always recommend with these bigger guns, go single shot, even at, you know, distance. And then if people are going to come up and say hi to your face, that's when you go full auto. Let's say if you're inside dorms or something. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this gun will bring you some decent loot. It really doesn't cost that much to make. I think it was a total of 25 grand or 30 grand, not including the gun. So that's pretty decent for this build. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.